A very good afternoon to all the doctors. I am Nishita from Clearnet. Welcome everyone to today's webinar, Department of Community.
RMFC team always loves innovations and spreading knowledge. Everyone knows the importance of data science, as rightly pointed out by Sir. Data rules the world. As you all know, we have successfully conducted many basic and advanced data analysis workshops. Our key resource persons, respected Dr. Pragya Kumar ma'am, who is multitasking as the Registrar of AIIMS Patna, Additional Professor of the Department, Nodal in charge of RMFC, ICTC, Yellow Fever Vaccination, and many such in charges, along with the very vibrant faculty of our department, Dr. Samshad Ahmed sir. Both of them came with an idea of short series which would discuss a single topic in detail. We have already successfully conducted many workshops and webinars related to data analysis, and now I take immense pleasure in welcoming you all to this webinar about Introduction to Jamovi software. Thank you, Pragya ma'am and Samshad sir, for awesome revolutionary new ideas and for your contribution towards data world. Now, I request Dr. Pragya ma'am to take over the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Venkatesh, for the nice introduction. Although I asked you to convey a brief introduction, but still you have, took a lot of effort and time to introduce me. Thank you so much. And so without further delay, I will share my screen and start the I'll just show you the glimpse of the Jamovi because it is not possible to show each and everything. So with that, we will see how to quickly navigate the Jamovi, taking all the options and like we have learned in the SPSS, but how to do those things in Jamovi. So basically Jamovi, it was released on August 2018 and again updated in 2019. And Dr. CM Singh has given you a very wide overview and very exhaustive overview of the software, how it is different from R and how it is different from SPSS and about its cost issue, and it is freely available. So what we can do with Jamovi, we can do the basic data analysis. Then again, we can do the advanced data analysis, but it needs module installation because we will see that there are various modules of Jamovi and we need to install those modules separately. Again, there is a very good option of meta-analysis in the Jamovi and we can do that also, but again, it needs a module installation. So when we run analysis, we always need a result update. We always need a output again, but most of the time we are changing our decision while we are doing the output. So in Jamovi, there is no need to rerun the whole analysis and it's a very user-friendly interface. That's why it saves time in formatting the table because the output which comes in Jamovi, we will see that it comes as a API style table, very much near to API style table, and you can directly copy and paste the table in your results section and start writing the interpretation. So all the analysis of the Jamovi in the background, it's the command of R which is running. So there is no doubt about it that you cannot use it. You can definitely give the reference of Jamovi that you did the analysis in the Jamovi. Many of you who are skeptical now whether you should be acknowledging and citing Jamovi or not, but yes, you can definitely cite this because many people are using this and it is equivalent to R because it's just the clicking the R option, point and click interface of the R, but the only advantage is that you don't have to write the commands of R because many of us have tried R, but there is a difficulty in writing the command, especially because we are not mathematical people, we are medical people, or maybe we are the researcher. So we don't have a very exhaustive background of the mathematics. That's why it is difficult for us to run the commands, write the commands especially. So in this Jamovi, all the commands has been written, they are running in the background, and it is just the point and click interface of the R which is making our life so easy. So for whom this Jamovi is recommended? So it is recommended for all researchers who are interested in doing research, be it a PG thesis research, be it a basic publication, advanced publication, any report writing, report documentation. So any type of analysis of the data which you want to do, Jamovi is definitely user-friendly for all of them, especially for the beginners. For the people who are very senior into data analysis, they may find it like they are already well versed in this data, maybe in SPSS, there is a SAS, and there are so many other softwares too. But beginners, because we always have this barrier of data analysis. Whenever we learn this term data handling or data analysis, we get uncomfortable using that data analysis. So that's how, for all those people, and we know that there is a scarcity of people who do this job for us. So we want you people to make empowered, to make independent, so that you should have a confidence in handling the data, in taking the output, in writing those interpretation, and then in making the report. So for all those researchers, this Jamovi is a breakthrough. So this is very clear from the slide that till now, almost 7,710 analysis has been done and cited using Jamovi since 2018. So first we'll see how to install this Jamovi. So this Jamovi, you have to go to the Google, and then this link is there. That's why I'll directly show you. Maybe you can go to your window and so it will lead to a download option. So there are two options of this Jamovi. It comes as a solid, which is 2.2.5, and then it comes as a current option. So this is recommended for most of the user, this solid version. So that's why we also recommend you people to download this. So first, if you click this, since I have installed it, so that's why it will be reinstalled in my PC, but there are separate versions for the Mac and for the Windows. So those of you who are having a Mac version, you can install the Jamovi for Mac and for Windows. So the only take-home message which we want to give you, to install a solid version of Jamovi, not the current one. So let's know about the data set. So in this data set, first I'll give the brief introduction of the data set which we are using for the demonstration purpose. So the data which we have used here, so it has been taken from a Worcester heart attack study. It was an ongoing population-based study by Robert J. Goldberg of the Department of Cardiology at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, US. And the main goal of this study is to describe the factors associated with the trends over a time in the incidence of survival rate following hospital admission for acute myocardial infarction at all metropolitan Worcester hospital. So the main data set was having more than 8,000 subjects, but we took a random sample of 193 subjects from the WHAS, and we have modified and added few variables to show you few more tests. So let's open the data set. So in this, first we'll show you how to import open the file and import. So I have this Jamovi installed. So you should type this Jamovi over your window. This will come. Click this. This software will open, and it needs an internet connectivity. So that connectivity should be good. Otherwise, there is some problem in opening this software. So now this icon is there. Click on this icon, and there is an option of open. So normally we save our data in Excel form. That's a recommended. Otherwise, Jamovi can import or open any data type. It can open SPSS, it can open SAS. So whatever format you enter your data, it will import the data sheet. But generally, we recommend to use an Excel sheet for entering the data. So that's how we are using it as a demo purpose. So click on open. Then there is a button of this browse. Click on this browse and show the path. So I have this Excel sheet, and I will use this Excel sheet for showing the import option. So this data will be imported here. So you can see the data has been imported. Now the second option, because the data in the Excel is in the form of a code. Now you need to write the name of those code here in the Jamovi. So for that, like age is a continuous variable, but for gender, what is 1 and 2? For that, you double click this variable, then this will come. So here you can see here type of the variable in the drop down option. You can see nominal, ordinal, continuous. Since gender is a nominal variable, keep it as such, and then it will be in the form of integer. Then it has got two coding, 1 and 2. So you may write 1 is for male and 2 is for female. So that's the code which I have kept. Depending on your coding, you can give the name of the code. Similarly, this socioeconomic, if you double click this, you can see the options 1, 2, 3. So you can write this 1 as a low socioeconomic status, the 2 as a middle, and then this 3 as a high socioeconomic status. So similarly, you can, this button with this, when you click on this button, it will move the variables forward. When you click this button, it will show the backward movement of the variable. And this again, there is a one button here. If you click this, this window will be closed. So similarly, you can give the name of all the codes which are there, because when it imports the data from Excel to Jamovi, you need to write the name of the code. That's how you do it. So since I have already have a pre-coded data sheet, so I will show my analysis on this pre-coded. So you can see here, this is the data, and if you see the data set, so all the like gender, you can see I have coded, then again socioeconomic status, smoking, absent, present. Then again there is a cardiovascular disease status, which is present, absent, MI order, which is in the form of a recurrent order and the first order. So all these are the categorical data. And then this weight, height, this is the continuous data. So this was regarding the import and giving the name to the variable. Now the third action which I need to do, that is the compute variable. So how to do the computation of variable, that we'll see here. So if you need to do the like BMI, we calculate it from the formula is weight divided by height in meter square. So if you have to compute that, what you can do, you can go to this. This data has this option. You can see there are many options here. This is the transform button. This is the compute button. So you should click this compute. So if you click this compute, I want to compute the BMI. So I will write the BMI. Then what this here you can show the description, like this is the body mass index and this is the function option. So if you click this, it will show you the various functions. So the various functions you can see here, that there is a function of statistics. These are the various functions. You can scroll down and you can see these functions, and this is the variable. So right now I have to put the formula. So for that I'll put weight. So weight is like, this is the weight in kg, but if you see the height, it is in meter square. So I will, with my this thing, I will press this oblique because this is the divided by button, and then you have to put that in the bracket, the other formula which you are putting in the denominator. So in denominator, suppose if you want like height in meter square. So I will click height here. Then again, I will multiply this with height because it is the height in meter square. So you have to click this height twice because this is a multiplication square. And again, you need to multiply this with 0.001 because this is the meter, it is in meter. So by multiplying this, because there are two squares, so you are basically giving the formula of weight in kg divided by height in meter square. And then if you press OK, you can see here there is a BMI. So if you press this, this view will hide and this is the view. So you can see this is the BMI. This has been calculated up till 3 decimal value. So this is the BMI. Now you want to make the categories of the BMI, because BMI, you know that we classify BMI based on the, we make the categories like whether it is an overweight category, obese category, or the normal category. So for that, we use the option of transform. So you click this option of transform and then you can keep this name as a BMI cat. So I have just changed the name as a BMI cat. And again, you have to use the source variable. Here you will use create new transform maybe. So I will write create new transform, and this, it will ask you to recode it because you have to give the command. So click on this add, and then it is asking for source. So if the source is, if the source of this is, if the BMI, we can write that if the BMI is more than or less than. So if you click this, there is an icon here. So if you click this, you can see here the more than and greater than. So you can write here, like if it is more than 25, then it will be obese. So I may write it as a obese. So I'm using the Asian standards, and you have to write this obese in a inverted comma, in the single inverted comma. So write this as obese, and then again you have to come down. The second criteria you can write if it is less than. So if it is less than, again you need to write this press option of recode condition. And similarly, you can choose the option of less than. So if it is less than 18.5, then it will be the underweight. So you can write here less than 18.5 and it will be underweight. And then you have to use again here the inverted comma. So I will write underweight here. And then I have kept it in the single inverted comma. So this is how you can put the category. So since I have already done it, so I'm not using this. So this was the BMI cat. Now so this 4 commands, we have seen how to open the file, how to label variable, how to compute variable, and how to transform variable. Now I will show you how to perform the descriptive statistics. So for descriptive statistics, there are 4 variables here: age, gender, BMI, and smoking status. So there is a question for you. All of you are expected to please type in the chat box. You will make frequency table for which variable? So there are 5 options. So please write in the chat box. So, okay, we'll see that answer would be that you can do it for all, because all are a categorical, except for age. Age is not clear here whether it is a categorical or not. So you can do that for all the variables which is categorical in nature. So now we'll see how to perform the frequency. So go to this analysis. In the analysis, there is an option of exploration. So click on this exploration, and in this you can see there is an option of descriptive. So click on this descriptive, and here you can see this mean median is automatically clicked. So if it is a frequency table, you don't want a mean and median. So click this statistics and uncheck this mean and median, because this for frequency table, you don't want any of these. So uncheck all these options. And then again, if you want it for like gender, so move these category of gender, socioeconomic status for which you want to calculate the frequency table here. And then you click on this frequency table. So if you click this, you can see that there is a frequency of gender, smoking. So all these frequency table is appearing here. So you can see in the same view, you have the data with you and you have the output also. And the screen is very dynamic. Like if you move this back here, then this will disappear from the output window. If you add some more variable here, you can see there is a appearance of more variable. So that's the beauty of the Jamovi. And if you want to import or save, then you can do it right click and you can copy it and save it. So you can copy this table or you can copy all analysis. There is an option of all also. So it depends what all you need to copy, but keep on copying and pasting it in your Word document, if the result which you want to save. Then this is the frequency table. If you want to calculate the mean and median, the descriptives of the continuous variable, then what you should do? So what I'll do, I'll move these variable back to this window, and then we can see, we will choose the like continuous variable, like age. We can choose, if we go down, you can have the systolic blood pressure, because SBP is the systolic blood pressure, then diastolic blood pressure, then you have a cholesterol. So for then you may take the LDH. So all these continuous variables are there, and then you have this mean and median. So you click on this mean. If you want median, there is a median also. If there is no missing data, you can uncheck this, because then this missing column will not be there. If you want the standard deviation, you can click the standard deviation for median. If you want this interquartile range, you can click this interquartile range. And this is the test for normality. So if you want to see whether your variable are normally distributed or not, so we know about the Shapiro-Wilk test, that if the sample size is less than 50, then you should use the Shapiro-Wilk test. And if it is more, then you should use the plot. So if you click on this plot, keep on coming down, and you can see here there are various options. There is a histogram, density, box plot, violin, bar plot. So basically we do the box plot for the outliers, and we do the histogram and density plot to see the normality, and QQ plot also. But we know that many times we prefer QQ plot. So in that you can see that there is appearance of QQ plot and box plot for all the continuous variable which you have entered as a descriptive. So it is taking some time, and then you will see that after some time there will be appearance of box plot. So this is the box plot. You can see that there is no outlier. Then this is the QQ plot. And then you can see this is again a box plot, QQ plot. So you can see these variables. Here you can see there is a one outlier here. In this case, in diastolic blood pressure, there is a one outlier, because this dot will be in the form of an outlier. And again, then this is about the normality. So these options are there where you can check the normality. You can check the skewness, kurtosis also. So depending on your need, you can do all these analysis of the descriptive statistics. So now next we will see what is the next question. Then the next question would be, so this I have shown you regarding the frequency. This is the dummy table for this gender-wise distribution, which we have seen the count and percentage, the frequency table. And similarly, now we have seen this normality, mean, median, and interquartile range. And we know about mean and median, that if the data is normally distributed, you need to report the mean along with standard deviation. But if the data is skewed, you need to report median with interquartile range. Then you have to check for the normality that we have seen overall calculation of mean, median, and mode, and then you have to report it. So this is the dummy table for all these socio-demographic, anthropometric, and clinical and biochemical parameter, depending on your data skewness of your data. So you will report mean or median along with standard deviation or the interquartile range. Now we will see how to perform a chi-square test of association and chi-square test of homogeneity. So for that, the research question which I have to see, this is a question for you, that if you want to see the relationship between the smoking and cardiovascular disease status, there is a one association of this type. And the second, then again, chi-square. So which of the, with this question, that chi-square test of association will be used for, which of the three options are correct? So first one is to show the relationship between the smoking and CVD status. Then second is to show the relationship between the BMI score and cholesterol. And third is both. So please write answer in the chat box. And the correct answer would be the first one, because the second one is the relationship between the BMI score, both of cholesterol and BMI score is a continuous variable. So we will use bivariate correlation or the Pearson's correlation to see that. And in the first one, if the data is categorical in nature, then we use for association the chi-square test. So we will see how to use the Jamovi. So in this case, this is the data set. Again, I'll go to the analysis. So for chi-square, you have to use the option of this frequency. So click on this option of frequency, and you can see here independent sample. So this is the chi-square test of association. Click this, again this interface will appear. So the question is that you have to see the association between the chi-square test. Let me see the question. So the question was, I have to see the association between the smoking status and cardiovascular disease status. So for that, this is the row and column. So you association between the cardiovascular disease status, you can move this to column and the smoking to the row, and then they come to the statistics. So in the statistics, you can see the chi-square. So it is automatically clicked. And if you want to see the odds ratio between these two, because maybe if it is a cross-sectional study, then also many times we report odds ratio. So if you click on this odds ratio, it will give you a odds ratio here, and then you go down. and then you can see here phi and Kramer V. So if you want to convey about the strength of association, then click on this phi and Kramer V value. In this cells, you want a percentage, and the percentage, if you want that you want a row wise percentage, you can click for the row wise percentage, and plot if you want to have any plot. But since we don't want any plot in this case, because we don't test for normality. Normality, basically chi-square is a non-parametric test, so I'm not checking for normality. So this is the value of chi-square. You can see it is less than it is significant because it is less than 0.001, and these are the 2x2 table, contingency table for the presence and absence of cardiovascular disease versus smoking status. And this is the value of phi and Kramer V. So this is how we perform the chi-square test of association. Now the another question is the phi, if you want to do the chi-square test of homogeneity. So chi-square test of homogeneity is done. This will be the so again, before I show you the chi-square test of homogeneity, let's enter these, see how to enter the result. So this is the association between the smoking and cardiovascular disease status. And you can see this is the status, and this is the smoking status, and this is the cardiovascular disease status. So all that which you have seen, the 2x2 contingency table with number and percentage, you should enter here. You should, in the bottom note, you should write the value of chi-square, the degree of freedom, and the p-value, and then you should write the interpretation. And if you wish to write the odds ratio, then the odds ratio which we calculate through 2x2 contingency table, that is a crude odds ratio, because adjusted odds ratio we calculate in the logistic regression. So here you, if you wish to calculate and report crude odds ratio between the two categorical variable, then you can have a separate column for that here only, and then you can write that. Now the next is the chi-square test of homogeneity, and the research question is whether if I want to check whether the proportion of outcome. So the outcome in my case is the death, or the person is alive at the end of maybe 1 year. So if I want to see the outcome across gender, then I will again use the chi-square test of homogeneity. So for that, again, you can see in the row and column, I'll move these back. So I'll enter this gender, and this outcome is at the last. So this outcome I have entered here. And for homogeneity, this is the option, Z test for the difference in two proportion. So you should click that Z test of difference in two proportion, and this will give you the value. So this is again significant. And if you see the proportion, you can see here that the death, that is, if you see the female and male, so death is more in case of female as compared to male. 27.3% versus 42.2%. So this is how you will do the test of chi-square test of homogeneity. You only have to change this option from chi-square to test of difference in Z test of difference in two proportion. So now we'll see, this is the dummy table for the chi-square test of two proportion. So this is the gender, female and male, and this is the status, alive or dead at the end of 1 year. And in the bottom, you have to write the Z test of two proportion, that its value, degree of freedom, p-value, and then you have to write the interpretation. Now the next we'll see if you want to compare the proportion. So if you want to compare the proportion pre and post across each any intervention, or if it is a pre-post study, then we use the McNemer test. And this is the question for the McNemer test. At the time of discharge, if you assume that all patients underwent a nutritional counseling session to improve their hemoglobin level, and if you want to see whether this counseling has any impact on their hemoglobin, then you use this McNemer test. So for that, again, we'll go to the data set, and in this you will see there is an option. So you come to this frequency, and here you can see there is an option of paired samples. So this, you click this McNemer, and in this again you have to, because it will be a pre and post hemoglobin. So both should be the categorical variable. So this is the pre, and this pre means baseline, and this is the post. So you can see here, and already this option, because the value it gives as of in the form of a chi-square. So this is the McNemer test, and in the McNemer test we see the marginal proportion. So you can see here that the value of chi-square, this is also significant. So we have seen up till now the descriptive statistics, the contingency table 2 by 2, that is for the chi-square test of homogeneity. We have seen the chi-square test of association, and we have seen about the McNemar test. And this is the dummy table for the McNemar test. So this is the post-counseling anemia status. This is the pre-counseling anemia status. And then this is the chi-square value, degree of freedom, p-value. And then you have to write the interpretation the way we write it for the McNemar. Now, the next, if you want to compare two means or two median in the two groups or in the same group, if you have took these measurement twice. So for that, again, if the research question. So before I go to the research question, in the case of testing of the two means or two median, there are few assumptions. So you should always check for the normality, whether the data is normally distributed or not, or the homogeneity of variance, because the homogeneity of variance will test whether the population which has been withdrawn, the sample which you have withdrawn from the population, whether they are having the same variance or not. So we will test for the age, BMI, cholesterol, all continuous variable. And then we compare these values across. We have to check for the MI order. So MI order we have categorized as the first order and the recurrent order. So if you go to this option also, you can see there is an option of this t-test. So click on this t-test, and then there is an option of independent sample t-test. So independent sample t-test, if my grouping variable is order of MI, so this is my grouping variable. You can see the sign here. So this flower sign and this bar sign shows that this is a nominal variable and this is a ordinal variable. So your grouping variable should be nominal or ordinal, and your dependent variable should be continuous as seen by this scale variable. So if I move these, maybe if I want to check the LDH and age, so I will move this age here, which is my continuous variable. And then again, this diastolic blood pressure, this cholesterol. So maybe we'll just see these with these three values. And then you can see by default, it is the student t-test, which is the clicked here. But we have read that we should go for the normality assumption and to check for any outlier. So for that normality and homogeneity, click on this homogeneity and QQ plot, and then you will see about these three variables. So you can see that this homogeneity of variance, which is the Levine statistics, if it is significant, then we say that the homogeneity of variance is not met. So in case of age, it is not met, whereas in case of systolic blood pressure and cholesterol, it is met. And then you can see the QQ plot. So QQ plot, if all the individual data point is across this diagonal line, then this QQ plot is normally distributed. So both these, so systolic blood pressure, age is normally distributed. This cholesterol is also normally distributed. But if you see this LDH, if I shift this LDH to this place, then you can see that the QQ plot is not deviated. This is the skewed QQ plot. So in case the data is skewed, then you should not use the student t-test. Rather, you should use Mann-Whitney U-test, which is the non-parametric counterpart of the independent sample t-test. So that's why I'll move this again back here, because I will use the student t-test. In that, I want to see the this mean difference. I want to see the descriptives also, the mean, this thing. In homogeneity also, in this case, if the homogeneity of variance assumption is not met, then you should report the Welch T statistics. So I have clicked this Welch T statistics also, and then let's focus on the output. So this is the output, and you can see the statistics, you can see the differences. So this is significant, all is significant, but this change in this cholesterol is not significant. And in every case, we will use this value of student t-test except age, where we will use Welch t-test because the homogeneity of variance is not met. And this is the test. And if you see the descriptive, this is the descriptive. So this is the age mean in the first order, and in the recurrent order, the systolic blood pressure was 147 in the first order and the 135 in the recurrent order. So this is how you can see the output of this independent sample t-test. And Mann-Whitney U also, like in this case, if I want to test the LDH and SGOT, because those two variables are not normally distributed. So I will shift LDH and SGOT here, and then you can click this Mann-Whitney because they are not normally distributed. And again, you can see the value, these things. So they will report the median. But again, for interquartile range, because in this descriptive, they don't report the interquartile range. For that, you need to go again to the exploration and use this option of descriptive to get their interquartile range. And after this, this is the dummy table for this mean value of BMI, cholesterol, age, and SBP. And you can see this is the first and a recurrent order MI along with standard deviation. You have to enter the result and write the interpretation. And one point which we have already made it clear, that if the homogeneity of variance assumption is not met, then you should use the Welch T statistics rather than student T statistics. And this is the LDH and SGOT, where you will see the median and interquartile range and Mann-Whitney U value, because this test is non-parametric counterpart of the independent sample t-test. And in this case, because the QQ plot was showing that it is not normally distributed, that's why we will use this Mann-Whitney U test. Now the next we'll see the paired t-test. So if you have to compare the paired mean or paired medians, then you should use the paired t-test. And the question is, maybe at the time of discharge, all the patients, they underwent a nutritional counseling, and you have a pre-counseling hemoglobin level and a post-counseling hemoglobin level. And if you want to see whether there is a change, so this is again an example of pre and post test. So again, it is very much similar to McNemer, but McNemer we test the proportion. Here we test the mean value. And for that, again, we'll go to the data set. So you have to check for the paired t-test. So this t-test will show you the paired sample t-test. So this you can see, if you click this option, this paired sample t-test, you can see, click this, and this paired value will be there. So paired value will be the hemoglobin level. So you have to move these two pair of pre and post here. You want the mean difference, you want the t value. But again, you can see option of Wilcoxon rank. So if you, before you check for that, you again check for the QQ plot, because that assumption checking is important. So since QQ plot, the QQ plot is plotted between the difference of baseline and post. And in SPSS, if you can recall, we need to create a new variable of this difference, whereas Jamovi, it automatically creates this difference, and you have a QQ plot which is showing that it is normally distributed. So this is the paired sample t-test, and then you can click on this descriptive also, where you can see the mean and median and standard deviation of this baseline hemoglobin. This is the difference. So the difference is, in this case, mean difference was 0.693, and it was significant. So result, if you have to enter the result, then you have to, the dummy table will be like this. There will be pre-intervention and the post-intervention mean hemoglobin level and its standard deviation. Then you have to write on the footnote the t value, the degree of freedom, p value, and its interpretation. Now, so we have seen till now, we have seen how to import the data, how to compute variable, how to transform variable. Then we saw how we perform the descriptive analysis, how we did the chi-square test of association, chi-square test of homogeneity. And then we have done tested the mean and median across two groups. So we have done the independent sample t-test. We saw the Mann-Whitney U, that is the non-parametric counterpart. We saw the paired t-test and Wilcoxon sign rank test, which is the non-parametric of the paired t-test. Now, if you want to test the difference in more than two groups, mean difference in more than two groups, then we use the ANOVA. So the question is, like, if you want to see the, so the question is, if you want to test the mean systolic blood pressure across BMI category. So BMI category is got three categories: low, that was the normal, overweight, and obese. So we will see how to perform the ANOVA. So for that, you go again to the Jamovi. There is an option of ANOVA. So in the upper ribbon, you can see that all the analysis is there. So this was exploration was for the descriptive. T-test was the independent sample t-test, and the paired t-test, this ANOVA. So click on this ANOVA. And right now there are many options of this ANOVA. There's a one-way ANOVA, repeated measure, ANCOVA, and MANCOVA. But right now, and it's non-parametric also, like Kruskal-Wallis and Friedman. But I'm only showing you, demonstrating you ANOVA. For more detail of these Jamovi option, you can visit our website Merit India, where you can find the videos related to these presentations. So I will click on this one-way ANOVA, and I have to test it across the BMI cat. So this BMI cat, If you see the BMI cat, then it is the categorical variable, and this is the systolic blood pressure. So in the dependent variable, I'll move this SBP. So this is the independent variable, is the grouping variable is the BMI cat, and you have to see both the things. So here also you check for the assumptions. So you check for the homogeneity test, you see the value of homogeneity, and then you see if the p value is less than 0.05, then this assumption is not met. So here we want p value to be more than 0.05. So this is more than 0.05. That's why the assumption of homogeneity is met. So we will use this Fisher F value. We will not use this Welsh. And then if you want to check for the normality, so for normality, ideally we check for the Shapiro-Wilk. But since the sample size is more than 50, so I will use the QQ plot. So this QQ plot you can see here, and it is across this diagonal line. So this is normally distributed. So I will use this ANOVA on its non-parametric counterpart. You can have a descriptive table where there you will have a difference of mean. You can see that the mean SBP is 140. The obese almost it is same, and here it is a standard deviation, and this ANOVA value you can see here that this is the significant. So this is how we perform the one-way ANOVA. And if you have to enter the result of one-way ANOVA, so this on the vertical column you have to write the categories of the categorical variable, and in here you have to write mean and standard deviation, and in the bottom footnote you have to write the Levine statistics value, because this will show whether your data has assumed the equality of variance or not. This is the value of F statistics, and then this is the degree of freedom and its p value. So we have seen how to perform the one-way ANOVA. If you have to do the correlation, so correlation we have seen that when the two variables are continuous in nature, then we do the bivariate correlation. So we'll see first how to do the correlation between two variables, and then we'll see if I've got more than two variables, so how to make a correlation matrix. So the question is we have to measure the correlation between the cholesterol and BMI, and then we'll see if we keep on adding more variables, so the age, BMI, cholesterol, and SBP, how it is made. So again, before we apply this correlation, for everything we have to check for the assumption. So for correlation, click on this regression. You can see there is an option of correlation matrix. So in this correlation matrix, if you click, right now I'm only moving two variables. So maybe I'll move the SBP and cholesterol. So this is the SBP and cholesterol. Right now I'm only checking with the two variables. Here automatically click is the Pearson correlation we do when the data is normally distributed. So you can check with the correlation matrix. If you check for the correlation matrix, you can see there is an appearance of scatter plot. So this scatter plot shows that this is the straight line, and this is linearity is there. And for we have already seen that this is normally distributed, so we'll apply the Pearson's correlation. If the data is not normally distributed, then you will use the Spearman rank correlation. You can see the value of correlation. If you click this, then it will show the significant, it will flag the significant p value, and you can see that here the p value is not significant because its value is 0.52. And if you have to make the correlation matrix, then you move another variable, like you can move the this thing, and you can also move the age. So this I have moved, and that's how you can see that there is an appearance of, this is the correlation matrix. And in the down also you can see there is the appearance of various scatter plot between the variables. So you can see this is between the age and up. If you come up, this is between the age and DBP. This scatter plot is between the cholesterol and SBP. These two, this is between the diastolic blood pressure and cholesterol. This scatter plot is between this. So you have to say that you have to take one variable from this row and one from the column, and the respective scatter plot will show you the linearity. So they are linearly related, and we know that they are normally distributed. So we are using the Pearson's correlation, and this is the correlation matrix, which you can see here. And the direction, if you can see the value of these, so it will show you the whether it is positively correlated or a negatively correlated. So this was regarding the correlation matrix and the correlation between the two variables. this is the correlation table. You can see that there is a, we will report the coefficient of determination also, that was there in that R square. We'll see how, what was there. So you can see this output, and you can see if you go up, so that's how. Now the next question is, if you see the next question, it is the binomial logistic regression. So if you have to perform logistic regression, the question which I have to show, that is, I have to develop a predictive model for outcome of death using age, gender, and smoking status. So before that, you have to run the assumptions. I'm not checking each and every assumption. There are a lot of assumptions for this binomial correlation. So for that, you go to this regression. In this regression, you can see there is a 2 outcome. This is the binomial regression. And here, the dependent variable is the outcome. So it should be categorical. So dependent variable is the outcome variable. And then there are 2 windows. This is covariate. So you can see the sign here. This is a sign of scale variable. So under the covariate, you should enter the continuous variable. So age was my continuous variable. So I will enter age here. And then factor should be the categorical variable. So the factor are the gender and smoking status. So I will move gender here to the factor and smoking status also to the factor. And then you can see there is an option of model builder. So in that model builder, already you can see that this is the estimate, this is the standard error, this is the Z value, and this is the P values. And if you go down here, then we will keep on checking. So if you see the reference level, it will show you the reference level also. So this is giving the reference level is alive here, because it is telling the odds ratio in the died patients. The reference for gender is male, so it will tell you the odds ratio in female as compared to male. Similarly, the reference level of smoking is the non-smoker. So it will tell you the odds ratio in smoker as compared to non-smoker. This is the option for assumption check. So this is the collinearity statistics. So this VIF and tolerance value, it tells you regarding the collinearity, all the independent variable, it should not be linearly very highly correlated. So the VIF value should be, ideally should be less than 3, but even if it is less than 10, that is okay. And this tolerance is opposite of this VIF. So this is one of the assumption check of the logistic regression. This is the model fit. So this McFadden R square, you can click this Nagelkar R square also, because this tells you the R square value in the population. And then you can check this overall model fit also. So the value of F test statistics give you the overall model fit. And here you can click on this odds ratio, and it's 95% confidence interval, which will be added in this table itself. So this is the odds ratio of this age, this is the female to male, and this is from smoker and non-smoker. So you can say the significance, if you see the significance, this smoker and non-smoker, this is borderline significant, this gender is significant, and age is also significant. So you can say that with increase in 1 year of age, the odds will increase by will be increased by 1. Similarly, with change in the gender, like if the reference is male, then female will be 3 times the mortality or the outcome will be more in females. So similarly, you have to write the interpretation. And then this is about the prediction. So if you want to have a area under the curve and the sensitivity and specificity of your model at cutoff point 0.5, so then you can have this ROC curve also here. So it will take some time. This is the ROC curve of your model, and this is the area under the curve. So if the area under the curve, it is 8.54. So it is a poor, it has got a good discrimination capacity. And this is the sensitivity. So this is the accuracy of the model. So this is how you check for the logistic regression. So now we'll see one example of the multiple linear regression. So this is the table. You can see this is the dummy table for the binomial logistic regressions, where you have got a variable. This is the value of B, that is the constant. This is the significant level, crude sorts ratio. This crude sorts ratio here, you can get here also, and this is the adjusted. When you have more variable, then you have adjusted odds ratio. And then the next question is about the linear regression. So multiple linear regression, the question which I have to show, that is I have to develop a predictive model to estimate cholesterol level. So cholesterol here is a continuous variable using age, gender, and smoking status. Again, go back to Jamovi, and in the regression, only choose the option of this linear regression. If you click on this linear regression, so dependent variable will be cholesterol here. So I'll move this cholesterol here, which is a continuous in nature, and this will be the same. So the age I will move in the covariate, and gender and smoking status I will move as a factor, because they are the categorical or the nominal. Similarly, you keep on checking the options. So this is the model builder. This you have checked it. Reference level, you can see the reference. So this is male is reference for this. It will tell you the value in female as compared to male. Similarly, this is the non-smoker reference value. And then if you go down, you can see the other options. So this is the assumptions check. So we also check a lot of assumptions. So this Cook distance, autocorrelation, normality, QQ plot, residual plot. So all these for the theory part, you can go back to our website, that is the meritindia.org. And then you can see there is a lecture on these assumptions checks also. And then you can learn. And this is regarding the model fit. So this is overall R square and R. And if you want to know overall model fit, that you can click on this F statistics. And in the model coefficient, because you want this standardized estimate, so this is important. And you want confidence interval also. So that you can get here in this table. And then this is how you do the analysis in the Jamovi. So this is the table for the Jamovi dummy table for this multiple linear regression, where you report the value of B and the 95% confidence interval T and P value. So this was the overall overview of this Jamovi, how we can use it. And you must have seen the dynamic status of the Jamovi and its interface. And in single interface, it gives you all the options, and you don't have to keep on changing or switching the overview. So that's the most advantageous part. And the graphs, they come beautifully. You can directly copy and paste it in your manuscript. You can report it, you can check all the assumptions, and you can mention about all those assumptions. So this is very, very easy interface for all the beginners and for all the clinicians, non-clinicians, all the researcher. So we definitely recommend this software. So this is the upcoming event in the 8th March, which is the sample size. We already conducted 2 events on this sample size for the cross-sectional study and for the case control. Now 3rd is for the cohort. And then for other activity which is upcoming, do visit our website, meritindia.org. With this note, I would like to thank all the participants, and I would like to thank my HOD, Dr. C.M. Singh and Venkatesh, and all the residents and Clarnet to our digital media partner. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot for the wonderful session. Hope all our participants will have benefited largely from this session. Now, I would like to request the man behind RFMC, Merit India, and who does all the work in the background to increase the reputation of the department nationwide, Dr. Shamshad Ahmed, sir, Assistant Professor of our department. I request sir to deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Venkatesh. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Venkatesh, for introduction. And it's your effort also, because you are associated with the CareNet from last 3 to 4 months. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Pragya for conducting this session so nicely. And from last, I think 1.5 years, he is conducting too many sessions on SPSS, Jamovi, qualitative research. And the team Merit India, that stands for Medical Education and Research Innovation Team, expressed their thanks to all the participants for their valuable time and effort for joining this workshop. We are constantly working to reduce the stress related to data-related analysis and medical education-related matters. And for this, we have a website. We developed too many contents. We are uploading the contents to the website, to the YouTube channels. And these all contents are free of cost. And they are freely available without any copyright issue. From participants, we only want that they can use this content with PPT videos. They just acknowledge the Merit India in wherever and whenever they are using this. So again, with this, we are finishing this workshop. Thanks for participation and stay connected with us. Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thanks a lot, sir. So now we have come to the end of the session. E-certificates for this session will be mailed to all the participants within a week's time. If you're interested to know more about our future sessions, you can always visit our website, or you can check out the department Facebook page, Department of Community and Family Medicine, AIIMS Patna. Hope to see you all in the next session. Thank you. We are closing now.
Thank you so much, everyone. Sir, can I conclude the session here now?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you so much.